In this session, I will be discussing with you the contents of the orbit. Okay, but before that, you should be familiar with the interior of the skull. So this is the apex of the petrous temporal bone, and this is the whole of the petrous part of the temporal bone. Over here, you can see this is the posterior cranial fossa, and this is the attachment of your falx cerebelli. Okay, and the tentorium cerebelli lies over here. Okay, the tentorium cerebelli, its attached margin is like this. It goes over here, and over here it is free. It is attaching over at the posterior clinoid process. The free margin is like this. It is concave like this, and it is getting also attached at the posterior clinoid process. So this is whole of the tentorium cerebelli, and beneath it there is a falx cerebelli to separate the two lobes of the cerebellum. Okay. Now this is the middle cranial fossa. Okay, this is the middle cranial fossa for the frontal lobe, and this, for the temporal lobe, and this is the anterior cranial fossa for the frontal lobe. Okay, and this is the posterior cranial fossa exclusively for the cerebellum. Okay, now this is the optic chiasm. As I already told you, this is the optic chiasm, and this is the carotid artery, internal carotid artery, which is coming out. Okay, and you can see this is the just lateral to this this optic chiasma and the diaphragma cilia. You can see this is the pituitary gland over here. Okay, just lateral to it you can find this is a cavernous sinus. This area is for the cavernous sinus, and the cavernous sinus, the lateral relations, as you know, it is the internal carotid artery, the third cranial nerve, fourth cranial nerve, sixth cranial nerve, and the lacrimal frontal and the nasolacrimal division of the fifth cranial nerve. Okay, so we will discuss the contents of the orbit now. So in this cadaver, the eyeballs have been removed. Okay, so you won't be able to appreciate all the attachments of the muscles, but all the visible attachments I will be showing you. Okay, so this is the optic nerve. Okay, this is the optic nerve, and I have removed the whole of the endosteum part of the orbit. See, okay, so I have cut over here. See, it is present intact over here, but I have cut over here. So I have removed this and exposed the orbit, and the first layer which you come across is the dura layer. That is nothing but your fascia of the orbit. Okay, so fascia of the orbit is nothing but the continuation of the dura mater posteriorly. So you can see this whitish structure, okay, which is also covering this optic nerve. That is your fascia of the orbit, which interiorly inside the skull is continuous with the dura of the brain. Okay. Now, if you remove this fascia of the orbit, you will be able to appreciate the first nerve. So this nerve is the frontal nerve. Okay. Another nerve which you have to appreciate is the nasociliary nerve, which lies medially, and the another one is the lacrimal nerve, which lies laterally. Okay, so this nerve right now it is not visible. It might have been dissected out. So only nerve right now present is this frontal nerve. Okay, beneath the frontal nerve you can see a muscle. Okay, you can see a muscle. This muscle is the levator palpebrae superioris. So this muscle which you can see over here is the levator palpebrae superioris. And as the relation of the fourth cranial nerve, the trochlear nerve, which supplies the superior oblique, is such that the trochlear nerve is the thinnest nerve which lies superior to the levator palpebrae superioris. So you can see this nerve. This is the thinnest nerve, thinnest cranial nerve, this one. Okay, which is lying above the levator palpebrae superioris, and you can see this is the superior oblique muscle. Okay, it is piercing the superior oblique muscle. See, you can see it is going inside the substance of the muscle and supplying the muscle. Okay, so this is my superior oblique muscle. Okay, the superior oblique muscle arises medially, supromedially from the central ring of Zinn. Okay, it is not arising from the central ring of Zinn, but it is arising anteromedially to the Zinn. Okay, so this is my superior oblique muscle. Over here you can appreciate a trochlea. See, from the trochlea it goes backwards. It goes backwards and laterally to get attached onto the sclera of the eyeball. But obviously the attachment won't be seen over here since there is no eyeball. So you can see this is the trochlea for the superior oblique. And so from the trochlear nerve gets its name, the trochlear nerve. Okay, so this is my superior oblique muscle. Now you can see this vein. This is my superior orbital vein. Okay, this is my superior orbital vein. Now, if I dissect this, if I remove this levator palpebrae superioris, if I cut it from the insertion, its insertion, as you all know, it goes into the eyelid. Okay, and has three types of insertions. One is forming the involuntary muscle of Muller, and the another one is in the it attaches in the orbicularis oculi muscle. Okay, so if you cut it from the front, okay, now the another muscle which you can appreciate, this one is the superior rectus muscle. So this is my levator palpebrae superioris, okay, and beneath it is my superior rectus muscle. So as in the lecture I mentioned that the levator palpebrae superioris is a detached part of the superior rectus only, so they are actually inseparable. You can see this is my superior rectus and this is my levator palpebrae superioris. Okay, so you can see that the origins are almost same only. Okay, because the levator palpebrae superioris is a detached part of the superior rectus, and you can see this is the nerve supply of the levator palpebrae superioris from its orbital surface, from the third cranial nerve. Okay, and this is my medial rectus. Okay, and again you can see over here, if I am reflecting the medial superior rectus, this is a superior rectus. Okay, sorry, if I am cutting the superior rectus again at its insertion, you can see from its orbital surface it is getting its nerve supply from the third cranial nerve. Okay, so this is my levator palpebrae superioris. See, they are almost inseparable. Okay, so this is my levator palpebrae superioris. Okay, this one. See, this is my levator palpebrae superioris and this is my superior rectus muscle. Now, if you go laterally, this one. See, this muscle is my lateral rectus muscle. Okay, this is my lateral rectus muscle which is getting its now supply from the sixth cranial nerve, and just lateral to the lateral rectus you can see this one. This is again the fascia bulbi. Okay, it covering the whole of the muscles of the eyeball. Okay, and over here you can see the fascia of the orbit and the skull. Okay, the bone has come. Okay, now if I reflect the superior oblique more medially, you can see a deeper muscle over here. See this one, it's a very thin stripe of muscle, this one. Okay, so this I am reflecting my superior oblique like this, and over here you can see another muscle, this one. Okay, I have taken it out. This is my medial rectus. Okay, this is my medial rectus, and you can see the medial rectus is again getting its nerve supply from the third cranial nerve. So this is my another division of the third cranial nerve, the upper division, which is supplying the medial rectus muscle. Now between the medial rectus and the lateral rectus you can see this nerve. See, this is my optic nerve. Okay, you can see that the optic nerve has been cut so as to remove the eyeball. Okay, so this is my cut part of the optic nerve. So this is a thick nerve, okay, lying in the middle of the orbit, and it has been cut because of the removal of the eyeball. Okay, and over here you can see just beneath the optic nerve, so this nerve, this is my third cranial nerve. Okay, which goes inside the orbit from the middle part of the superior orbital fissure. So this is my third cranial nerve. Okay, thank you.